The title of today's webinar is Signify Lighting Academy, Biophilic Design. It will be presented by Oliver Heath. Oliver is one of the world's leading authorities in biophilic design and its benefits to health and well-being. An industry-recognized expert in the field of sustainable architecture and interior design, Oliver is a frequent contributor to the likes of The Guardian, The Sunday Times, and House Beautiful, while also spending much of his time lecturing to leading architects across the world on well-being and biophilic design. And now, without further delay, I will now hand over to Oliver for his presentation.
Great. Thank you very much, Alexa. Thank you for joining me today. It's fantastic to be speaking to you all, I know, around the world. And it's quite kind of mind-boggling, really, getting my head around to that. Today, what I'd like to do is talk to you essentially about a new frontier in sustainable design. Now, over the last 20 years, when we've talked about sustainable buildings, we've really been talking about a very carbon-centered approach that really looks at energy use and the circular economy and the use of resources. Now what we're seeing is a kind of new frontier in sustainable design opening up that's much more human-centered. And that area looks in particular at health and well-being. And it's that subject that I'm going to talk to you about today, focusing in particularly on the subject of biophilic, which suggests that when we look out over healthy forms of nature, it actually has the incredible ability to reduce heart rates and blood pressure levels, to help alleviate stress and recuperate both physically and mentally. So when we look out over a lush, healthy green environment like this, what do we see? Well, we see that it's green. So clearly there's enough rainfall to support life. We have vegetation for picking fruits and nuts and berries, trees for wood, we've got rock for building and for weapons, water for hydration, and lots of natural light flooding down into this open savanna environment. And we're seeing it all from a point of prospect, from a mountaintop, which allows us to see potential prey and also potential predators. So what's interesting is that, we know that these spaces make us feel good. The tricky thing is, I guess, is how do we translate these lush, healthy environments that are immediately suggest, landscapes where we can not just survive, but also thrive and flourish? And how do we translate those into our dense, noisy, urban geometric spaces? Well, that's kind of where biophilic design steps in. Now, there are three core constructs of biophilic design. The first is what we call a direct contact with nature. So that's how we bring real sensory forms of nature into a space, be that water, trees, plants, light, fresh air. The second is what we call an indirect connection to nature, which helps us to evoke or mimic a sense of nature in our built environment through the use of natural materials, colors, textures, patterns, and also, more so, technology. And this is a really important area for us as designers to find ways of creating naturalized feeling environments. And the third one is to recognize that as human beings, we interacted with natural environments to create a sense of energy, to create aspiration, to kind of be energized, but also to relax and to restore and recuperate ourselves. So this idea of a human spatial response and creating spaces that help deliver on those physical and emotional states is really important. Biophilic design, I believe, is an essential part of the creation of happy and healthy spaces. It's better for people, it's better for productivity, and it's better for the planet.